I mean,
Oh!
this is when you start singing the song.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun 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 do 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 do.
Da, 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 da.
Dun 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 do do do.
Ba, 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 ba.
Rob said he was gonna start with the Imperial March
That's
But-
true.
anyway, cause whatever. Do 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 do.
Do. I
Jets
really
suck.
should have.
Turn.
I mean,
Hey.
like, that's just accurate, but
The Jets do suck.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to week 8, 7 to
Week
8. I
eight.
think it's we're in week 8.
7
We're,
to 8.
it's 7-8. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's week 8. Week 7's in the books now as we head
So, yeah.
towards week 8, Coach.
so after this week, we're pretty much halfway done, right?
Yeah. I
Damn.
mean, we are
Close
technically
to.
already.
That's
almost
crazy when you think about it. Like
Yeah.
it feels
Yeah.
like we
Yeah.
just started 2 months ago because we did.
Yeah, football's almost over now, Coach. What are we gonna do now?
Oh.
Yeah, can we go back to the start of the season and have a reset, please?
Oh
That would
no,
be
I'm
nice.
loving this season. It's great. Man. So I'll just start out with something positive. The Packers. Man, that was a fun game. I don't know if you saw the stats on that one. It is a fun game.
I mean, as an Aaron Rodgers owner, I was very happy about that.
Yeah.
Today.
It's
So,
reasonable. Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers threw 25 of 31, 429 yards, 5 touchdowns, and he ran for 1. So he had 6 touchdowns on the day, which is pretty much twice the amount that the Jets have scored with all their quarterbacks. Is
Fairly accurate, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Rodgers got me 52 points, Coach. So I'm fine with
Yeah.
that.
It was that was like a vintage Rodgers. I don't think I've seen that good of a Rodgers since like 3 years ago when we made the playoffs last. Like it's been a while, but man, it felt good to see that again. We didn't really run the ball. Aaron Jones had 50 yards on 12 carries. Marquez Valdez-Scantling 133 yards on 2 catches and a touchdown.
Yeah, I was pretty upset that the 1 week I decided to bench him, he finally does something. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
there's that.
he spread the ball around. Jimmy Graham actually caught the ball this week, 65 yards and a touchdown. Kumaro had 54 yards and a touchdown. Our fullback, Danny Vitale, 43 yards. Lazard had 42 yards. Allison, 33 yards. Jones, 33. Jamal Williams, 26. So everybody got the ball today. And then
Yeah,
on defense, we didn't really get any sacks, but Kevin King got a pick. Amos had a tip. And it was one of those things where they just couldn't stop us. Like the Raiders didn't play badly. They just couldn't keep up is what it boiled
they
down
were
to.
outclassed, Coach.
Yeah.
I
Like,
wanted to I guess I forgot to save a comment, but like Aaron Rodgers in that game had yet again, it comes up yet again, a 158.3 rating, which is the top rating in the QB rating scale. I wanted to save it, but I just wanted to like point out the extremely arbitrary rules for getting 158.3.
all right.
Like you need like I don't remember what it is exactly because I thought I saved the comment, but it's something like you need at least 10 pass attempts. You need I think it's like a 72.5 completion percentage. You need like it's just like the most arbitrary fucking shit. Like your touchdown percentage must be like 2% or something crazy. But anyway, sorry, go on.
Rob is upset because Sam Darnold doesn't have 158.3.
Oh, dude,
passer
Sam
rating.
Darnold I think had like a 3.
It was actually
it was like
3.6.
Yeah, 3.6.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But we'll talk about the Jets.
We'll talk about
yeah,
that
we'll
soon.
get into that. Yeah,
Yeah.
So it was just a great win. It's probably our best win of the season. And I mean, the Raiders aren't even like a bad team. That's the thing. Like it came against a pretty solid Raiders team. Like they're 3-3, but like Derek Carr went 22-28, 293 yards, 2 TDs, and a pick. And the pick was kind of late game. Joshua Jacobs ran for 124 yards on 21 carries. Like they did well, but then the biggest mistake they had was Derek Carr tried to reach for the end zone as he has in the past and fumbled it into our end zone, and it was a turnover. which
That
I believe is the
sucks.
third time he's done that
Oof.
in his career. So it
like
was
brother.
yeah. So it happened and it was fantastic, and then we got a touchdown off of it, and we just kept rolling. So
Mhm.
it was a great game. I feel like Matt LaFleur is like finally starting to coach a lot better. Like he's starting to adjust is the biggest thing. So it's one of those things where like if we can't pass, like if they have a shitty run defense, he's like, oh, we're gonna pound the ball with our two running backs. If they can't defend the pass, he's like, oh, we're just gonna pass it nonstop. Like he finds the weakness and attacks it. Unlike Mike McCarthy, who is like, wow, Aaron Jones is running well. What if we start passing again? It's like, no, no. So-
Your Discord faded out when Roboti right as you said no.
Went to McCarthy voice. Yeah.
So it's nice having a coach that has the ability to realize what the best plan of attack is and do that consistently and not let up. And I think that's the biggest difference, and it's very refreshing. I'll definitely say that. And then our defense is still pretty good. Good enough and better than what it has been in years past. So 6-1 now. Last
And
time we had 6 wins was a year ago in December. So it's good to
Yeah.
get there in October.
Yeah, and of course, Coach, you can't forget Aaron Rodgers, fastest quarterback in NFL history with 350 plus career touchdowns
Oh,
in only
yeah.
172 games.
Injected into my veins.
Yeah,
Uh,
Coach is celebrating National Nut Day already.
Yeah.
He's in
And
full
here's the
force.
best part. We have a game against the Redskins this year. We're already at 7 wins now.
Yeah,
This is
pretty
awesome.
much.
So,
Unless they pull their starters, because it won't matter.
but still, I think we could still win.
Barring
also the,
disaster.
yeah. So
The Packers' 6 offensive touchdowns were also the most in a game since Week 10 of 2014.
oh
Yeah.
my god.
Also, by the way, the 5 passing touchdowns that A-Rod threw,
Mhm.
every single one of them was to a different receiver.
Yeah. It was
That's crazy.
It was like some vintage like 2011 Aaron Rodgers or like some Brett Favre thing where he's like throwing all over. Like it was beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah.
Favorite Packer game of the season. And we destroyed the Cowboys like 31-3. So I mean, that was another
Yeah.
fun game, but this was even better than that.
Who did the Packers lose to?
The Eagles on that Thursday night game.
That's right.
Yeah.
I
So
was trying to remember it. I couldn't remember.
yeah, it's they just like to cheap shot our running back and then cheap shot our return guy.
Yeah, they're
and then,
obviously
a bunch. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. We're
Hey,
fine.
you're 6-1. There's no
We're
reason
6-1.
to.
I'll take
yeah,
it.
yeah. You can live with the 1.
Yeah. So that was that game. Very nice. We're in first place. So
Well
let's
done,
move
Coach.
on to the New York Football Jets, who
New York Football Jets.
Do we
I thought-
have to?
I thought they'd at least get a field goal.
To be honest, like the cynical part of me knew that was definitely not going to happen. Honestly, like watching the Jets for so long, I don't know if this is it. I'll ask a question to you
Mhm.
guys. Does
Yeah.
this happen to you guys as well, where you start watching a game for your particular team, and based on the events in pretty early on, you can tell what type of a game your team is about to play?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So then that's if that's not just me, then I fucking knew that shit was happening after the first like 5 minutes of the
Dude,
first quarter.
it was
Like-
like that last year, like the Packers, where they're like, we still got hope, and I still had hope, and then we were playing the like 0-14 Cardinals or whatever, and I'm like, we're gonna lose this game. We're gonna lose this game, and they lost it, and I was like, there it is, and then that's the McCarthy got fired game. But it was that same feeling you had where it's like, man, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah. It
Rob,
was
I'd
all-
like to ask a completely subjective question, meaning
Sure.
absolutely no disrespect, because you have to remember where I'm coming from now.
Oh, sure.
I'm also coming from a terrible football team.
Yeah.
Is the problem with Sammy D a Sammy D decision-making thing, or is it more of our O-line is just trash and Darnold could do better if he had weapons?
It's, to be honest, if we are using just the game on Sunday as a sample, and only that in isolation, then I would say it's probably a mix of both. But with that said, like, here's the thing. He threw 4 picks. Most of them were situations in which Sam Darnold just should not have. They looked like Cousins picks, like they were just places where
Seeing
the
ghosts
ball
out
should
there.
have just never, the ball should have never left his hand, and he should have, taken the ball, hugged it down, and taken the sack, which would have been a bad play, of course, as well, right? I mean, that would have sucked too.
But not as bad as an interception.
Exactly. And the thing is, he's still 23. He's in his sophomore year. So if he's making bad decisions like that in a game where they're obviously losing and he's trying to do his best to make some kind of miraculous play, like I understand why he's throwing those picks. It'll be a problem if that is a trend for his career. I don't think it is right now because he doesn't do that normally.
Yeah.
However, the thing that seemed very evident to me yesterday was that our O-line is maybe the worst in football. Like, seriously, it is terrible. Not only is it bad, but it's injured too. Like, we're down like 3 starters on an already terrible line. So it's just, I mean, I don't know did you guys watch any of the game? I assume
I watched about
terrible.
5 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say about the same.
I don't know. I'm not sure if anybody has the pressure numbers yet, but I honestly, I would not be surprised to see that the pressure numbers would be as high as 90 to 95%.
I do have the statistics of offensive line on the NFL.com team stats, and according to their offensive line judgment, the worst offensive line is the Tennessee Titans, followed by the New York Jets, followed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, followed by the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
So
and again, by the way, that's a reasonable indicator for team success, it seems, too, isn't it?
It would explain why the number 1 offensive line Pittsburgh Steelers make their bad quarterbacks seem good.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? Is our line is definitely one of, if not the worst in football. And Sam Darnold could not do anything against that Patriots defense. There were multiple plays in the game where as soon as he snapped the ball, instantaneously, someone blew an assignment and he was under pressure immediately. As soon as the ball was snapped. That is how bad, and that happened multiple times. So he got. I think, as far as whether or not this game is determinant for Sam's or predictive of Sam's future, I think that's very much. I think that's very much a no for right now. Because of how bad everyone else was. I mean, not to mention several times he did actually manage to complete passes by hitting Demaryius Thomas in the fucking hands, and he dropped it 3 times.
Yeah.
So no one was helping him, not even his offensive line. He he fucked up. He had a terrible fucking day, obviously. He did a bunch of horrible things. I'm not gonna undersell that either.
The third quarter oopsie with the high snap that went out back past the end zone, and then he batted out.
Actually, I want to talk about that because that one's not Darnold's fault, obviously.
No, it's a terrible snap.
Yeah, and I actually wanted to bring this up because Booger fucking McFarland can suckle on my testicles for all of eternity. It was 2 straight hours listening to an adult named Booger fillet Tom Brady.
You can't just throw it up like a loaf of bread.
Who the fuck throws loaves of bread? Booger? Who throws loaves of bread? Are you out here throwing loaves of bread all over the place? It's just on that play where the snap was literally 3 feet above Sam's head. He barely got a pinky on the ball when it flew out to the back of the end zone. Booger says, well, Sam could have caught that if he wanted to, but the snap was kind of bad. It's just it blows my mind. And he could not shut up about Sam with the mic'd up moment saying,
yeah.
"I'm seeing ghosts," right?
It was pretty funny though. You gotta admit.
Well, not really, because like he said, "I'm seeing ghosts," which is pretty standard football terminology, which is him saying, "I'm seeing pressure that isn't there." That's Sam Darnold sitting on the sideline identifying the mistake that he's making, which he was right about, by the way. He was seeing ghosts on a number of plays.
It's the Belichick necromancy.
Yeah. It's a very common phrase, in fact, in the NFL.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying that it's pretty funny timing.
It's also a very realistic scenario that Bill Belichick is summoning ghosts out there to attack the quarterback.
Yeah. Like
Ghost of Belichick.
The thing is, like, it would have been just something that he said if it weren't for the fact that Booger McFarlane would not shut up about it for 2 fucking hours because they had to force some stupid fucking controversy so they could sell views on ESPN over the course of the next fucking week. Like, it's just like it's so fucking silly.
I mean, how else are you gonna get people to watch the Dolphins Steelers next week?
Yeah, like, I really, really like Booger McFarlane is gotta be. I at this point I am now on the train of he is the worst commentator in the game right now. Like, by far, he fucking sucks. He has no idea what he's talking about. In fact, actually, at one point, that was so poignant actually to emphasize how fucking shitty he is at his job, which is analyst, by the way. He's a color commentator, so his job is to analyze the football plays and explain it to the rest of us simple-minded folk,
like Tony Romo.
Yeah, exactly. So he shows a play. So a play happens where they're throwing for the end zone, right? Mm-hmm. And they show a replay of the play where Booger wants to criticize Darnold because he comes right out of the gate criticizing him, right? So they're going through the replay and he's like, you see, and then he throws it up here and he throws it like that, and it's just like, you see, you don't see Tom Brady doing that. Tom Brady wouldn't do stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting at home and I'm like, that's not the play that just happened. Booger didn't realize that at all. It took him, like, it was a good 20 seconds of him shitting on Darnold for that play, assuming specifically that it was the play that he had just watched. And then they had to change the replay without him saying anything about it or Joe Tessitore saying anything about it. And he just continued speaking as if it were normal. Like, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's not even watching. Like, he's not even paying attention to the basics of the fucking game. He sucks so bad. It is crazy.
Yeah. Like, he could have been getting bored from the game, but it's like, still, it's your job. You gotta do this like once a week, man. Like,
yeah,
come on.
Exactly. Like, and like and all he did was pretty much just shit on Sam Darnold and compare him to Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, and talk about, see, Tom Brady does this, Sam Darnold doesn't do that. He's never gonna be. It's just like, shut the fuck up, you stupid old boomer. Like, fuck off. Like, but the honestly, but besides Booger,
yeah,
one of the main things
how do you feel about the Jets, Rob?
Well, yeah. One of the main takeaways that I took from that game was that Adam Gase fucking sucks, major dick, which is exactly what I expected going into the season. But then I had just little inklings of hope because people in the Jets subreddit were just like raging at people like, you've never even seen him coach. He beat Bill Belichick, 2 times a year. He's perfect for fighting. He's gonna be, look, he didn't get a fair shake in Denver. He didn't get a fair shake in Miami. He just didn't. And it's just like, you know what? We've seen it now. We're 1-5. He fucking sucks. He sucks big fucking dick. Like, he sucks major dong. He just to put it into perspective, right? Like, I'm not a coach. I don't really know what I'm talking about, right? Like, I don't know the overall overarching strategy of football. So, grain of salt with what I'm about to say. But you go into a stadium, you're playing the Patriots, who as of right now, or as of that time, were 6-0. Part of the reason that they're 6-0 is because they have a somewhat historic defense right now, and that defense currently is playing primarily man coverage. You are the coach of the New York Jets, who have a huge weakness in their offensive line, and your offensive line that's already weak is also mostly injured. So, how would one person think to potentially attack a very good man coverage defense when you have a shitty offensive line? Well, Adam Gase looks at that and he says, let's go 5 wide all the time. Why not? Let's just go 5 wide receivers.
Dude, it's like you just hired Mike McCarthy light.
It's just like this is just basic strategy. Like, this is just like, okay, if you want to bring 6 rushers on every play, go 5 wide. Keep doing it because they are in man like 80% of the fucking time. It's just like this is just and again, so grain of salt with what I'm saying, because I'm fully aware that I am not a coach, nor do I know real football strategy in any reasonable context. But with that said, it seems to me that his decision is adverse to what seems to be common sense strategy about how football works, Like, I feel like if you're playing with a depleted line that is, prone to rushers, maybe we shouldn't be going for long passes. Maybe we should throw, I don't know, 1 or 2 fucking slants. Just 1 or 2. I don't know. That might be good. It's just
But to be fair, if your quarterback can't get the pass off anyway, you're not gonna be throwing too many slants.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that like you should? So what you should be doing, again, grain of salt, but like what I think you should be doing is you should probably be running jumbo sets, and you should be running, big packages with multiple tight ends, and you should be running a lot and probably, moving shit around behind the line, because that's what you would have to do to stop a very strong pass rush from destroying your depleted offensive line. That seems to me would be a good strategic decision.
No, that doesn't make sense. You would need a good running back like Le'Veon Bell to do something like that.
Yeah, or LaDainian Tomlinson.
It's just so I hope he gets fired at the end of the year.
We're very happy that you didn't buy a bag of Adam Gase's crack that he was selling at the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
we were all worried about that, Rob.
Some powerful stuff.
I really, really hope that the Jets will be an actual intelligent organization for one single time in my life and fire Adam Gase.
A year after they hired him?
Yes. He should have 1 year, and that is it. He gets the 1 season.
I think they're going to give him 2.
I have 6 games with this man, and I know he's fucking terrible. There is no reason that we should be coaching this fucking team.
No, I remember Adam Gase was a quarterback coach for the Bears when they had Jay Cutler, and
yeah.
Right there, coach. Does he still do the whole like wide-eyed I'm on speed look? I haven't seen any. I have not seen Adam Gase since like the beginning. Is he normal now? Okay.
No, he looks disheveled and dejected constantly. you should have seen him over that. Sincerely, over that run, over the beyond honestly strategic considerations, he's just not a fucking leader. Like, that's really one of the main things about this guy, because over that stretch where Sam Darnold was down, did you see his announcement of it? Like,
no.
his announcement of Sam Darnold going down was Sam Darnold has mononucleosis, and he will be out for several weeks, and that is that. Like,
Thanks,
almost word for word. That's what he said and how he said it. And So that shows to me that's after week 1 with a brand new team. He gave up immediately. Week fucking 1. He didn't say next man up. He didn't say we're going to rally around and find our focus because we believe in this team. No, he didn't say any of those things. He said that is that. And then he grew a scraggly fucking beard over the past 6 weeks and has looked like a depressed crybaby ever since. And
Dude,
like I understand,
I think he's just Jay Cutler in disguise.
He kind of is.
Yeah.
Like, I understand where he's coming from. Like, he does have a really... If anyone in the league has a right to be depressed and dejected over the fact that his starting QB went down, it's Adam Gase, because he spent, I think at this point, the majority of his career with a backup quarterback. With that said, you're the fucking coach. You're supposed to be above that shit. You're not supposed to show that kind of shit to your players. They need to be able to lean on you. If you don't believe in the team, why would they?
Yeah.
Well, here's a fun Sam Darnold stat for you, which should make you feel better, Rob.
Yeah.
He's thrown an interception on the first pass attempt in each of his 2 career Monday night games. So, he's got that streak going for him. The Patriots are undefeated whenever Sony Michel scores a touchdown.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And the Patriots defense, still pretty good.
If you want to know... If you would like slightly more evidence to my hypothesis that Adam Gase gives up too easily, I don't know if you guys saw the clip of this, but Bill Belichick also trolled the Jets in the game yesterday.
Of course.
I don't know if you're aware of that.
I'm not.
Basically, the Patriots were going to punt, so they took a delay of game penalty. The Jets declined. Then he sends the punt team out back again, and at literally the last second, he gets one of the players to jump so that they get a false start penalty, and the Jets declined again. And then they cut over to Bill Belichick on the sideline, just like smiling and laughing at us. And it's just like
going for the first down on 4th down in the first quarter was man.
Yeah,
I was laughing hard at that.
And because Bill Belichick fucking hates us. And
everyone knows
the
that.
Jets in particular, and Adam Gase declined both those penalties because he's a pussy ass bitch, and he is just willing to just roll over and just get fucked by Bill Belichick. He does not mind. He really doesn't care.
Reddit said that he beat Belichick.
Yeah, exactly. I seriously, I have zero.
I bet Belichick hates that too, being like the media hyping up like, dude, this guy's the Patriot killer, and he's just like, shut up. I'm just gonna fucking like roast this guy.
He's gonna go for it on 4th down in the first quarter. Yeah, that was just that was beautiful.
So I'm glad the Packers did not get that coach, and we got a good young coach. So moving on.
Got the humdinger of the week, coach. San Francisco beating the Washington Redskins 9-0.
9-0. So here's the thing. Like, the 49ers are 6-0.
They are.
It's because of their defense. Honestly, the 49ers are reminding me of the Bears of like last year. They have an amazing defense. They have a pretty good running game. And then Garoppolo went 12 of 21, 151 yards and a pick.
The rushers didn't do that well, though. I mean,
like
Coleman
62 yards, Brady at 35,
on
like
20 carries.
Yeah, I would say that they're fairly complete in my view. Honestly, like their offense is winning them games in multiple games.
I don't agree with that though.
Yeah, but like they should have destroyed the Redskins though if their offense.
The thing about the Redskins is like it's the same reason that I picked them in the pick'ems a couple of weeks ago against the Dolphins, is that the Redskins are a team that was going to be competing, but the ancient American Indian curse has destroyed them, and rightfully so, obviously. But beyond that, like they are. Remember, the past 2 years they've had a top 10 defense. Like they have a good defense.
Yeah, but you
that's
pick the Redskins to beat the Dolphins because they're playing the Dolphins, not because you think they're a fantastic team this season, though.
No, right. I exactly, and specifically though, I think they were capable of beating the Dolphins because they still had a good defense. And in this case, I would say that, it seems like the defense came to play today, and the 49ers offense is just simply...
Yeah, but it's the Redskins. All right, let me rewind this a bit. So the 49ers opening week beat the Buccaneers on a shit show game. I'm sure Sinvicta remembers because I remember watching that, and it was a shit show game.
Yep.
49ers leading receiver was George Kittle, their tight end, with 54 yards that game. And Mostert was their leading rusher at 40 yards. Then they beat the Bengals. Then they beat the Steelers 24-20, so that's a close game.
Yeah.
Then they beat the Browns 31-3, which it doesn't look as good now. Then they beat the Rams, who I still think are overrated. Then they beat the Redskins. Like, I don't think they've played difficult teams. But here's the thing. Now they've got the Panthers, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Cardinals, the Packers, the Ravens, the Saints. So this is like the gauntlet they're about to go through. So if they come out of this looking good, I'll be like, all right, you know what? They're for real. But I don't think...
fair.
I think they have the Patriot treatment right now. They've played these teams that aren't very good, and I think they're about to get tested.
I think the point is that out of the teams that San Fran has beaten this entire season, they should have beaten the Redskins the hardest, and they didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, but the thing is about the Redskins that Case Keenum is he's not very good playing in the Redskins system. I thought that he was better. I think he actually played better at U of H. If I'm honest, but
I don't want to shit on Case too bad because he had 12 attempts in the game.
He went 9 for 12 for 77 yards and no picks. So hey, he's better than Jameis Winston and Sam Darnold combined.
Well, I mean that's kind of the main thing that I want to point out. Like, why did he only throw 12 times? What the fuck happened?
Trying to establish it.
I don't.
But the Niners' defense is pretty good. I mean, but again, they're looking like the Patriots. And that's the same thing. To go back on the Patriots real quick is that I own the Patriots' defense in fantasy. I've already told everyone that. I will not be convinced that they're for real until they play a legitimate tough team. And the same thing goes for the Niners as well. If they can do that. If they can do something like that versus, like, say, the Cardinals, then, I could be a little bit more convinced. But if they do that against the Ravens or someone like one of those top teams, then it's like, okay, their defense is better than what we expect against the softball matchups.
That's reasonable.
That's what I'm saying.
The 49ers have allowed 7 or fewer points in 3 straight games.
Wow.
Now, which is their longest streak going all the way back to 1987. And the Redskins, they have their fewest wins through the first 7 games since 1998. So, well done, Skins.
That's that. Then we had the Chiefs Broncos Thursday night thriller. Biggest thing out of that is that the Broncos suck and Pat Mahomes got hurt.
Rip.
Yep. So
and curse comes for us all, friends.
Yep.
But the Chiefs still win though, and I should have locked in the Chiefs against coach's lock. Actually, no, you locked the Bengals this week.
I did, and I'll never do it again.
That was a foolish decision.
I will never let Bear influence anyone influence my feeling again for the lock. I should have never locked the Seahawks, but we'll get to them.
Matt Moore went 10 of 19, 117 yards and a TD, but the biggest thing is Mahomes is out for 3 weeks. So Matt Moore's going to be starting Sunday night against the Green Bay Packers, and I am very happy we don't have to play Pat Mahomes. Woo!
Yep. Yeah. Everything's coming up Packers for you this year, Coach.
Yep.
I wonder, do you guys think that this is going to affect them super heavily? Like, do you guys think they're going to have, like, really? You think so?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not, like, you think this is going to be 3 straight losses?
No.
I don't think it's 3 straight losses, but I don't think they're going to beat the Packers.
In the stretch that Mahomes is out, they'll lose at least one. Because they're going to lose to the Packers.
Well, let's see. Who's their next
Packers,
3 games?
Vikings.
Oh, yeah.
And then Titans could be. Titans with Tannehill looked better. But
yeah, I don't know.
They'll lose to the Titans before they lose to Minnesota.
I think they'll lose 2 of 3.
That could be honestly reasonable. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, I do have pretty high faith in Andy Reid. I just don't have a huge amount of faith in Matt Moore.
Yeah.
And I, to be honest, I don't have a lot of faith in the overall construction of the Kansas City Chiefs to prop themselves up without Mahomes there to do it for them. You know, and I don't know if they can do that. But honestly, I could see them going 2-1 down that stretch instead of 1-2.
The Vikings game is going to be a toss-up. They're going to absolutely
Vikings
lose
are playing
to the
a lot better now.
Are they playing in Lambeau? Or are they playing
They're playing in Kansas City, but honestly, I don't think it matters too much if they don't have it.
I mean, the Kansas City defense still is not that great.
That's what I'm saying. Like, even
they stopped the Broncos, but it's the Broncos. And congrats to Joe Flacco, by the way, new career high. He was sacked 8 times. 8 times.
Oh my God,
8 times. 8 Congrats on the new career high there, Joe Flacco.
If we look at passing defense, Kansas City is 24th, and we just played against the Raiders, whose passing defense was... Where are the Raiders? Oh, second? Huh. They were second? Oh, they were only allowing... Oh, wait.
Yeah, the Raiders...
Defense... Oh, wait. I think I did it wrong.
I don't think they're second, but...
Yards.
The Raiders' defense are better than the Chiefs' defense.
Oh, no. It's the opposite. Why does it rank them at the... Okay, hold on. So, yeah. The Raiders allow 289 yards a game. Granted, it's because they just gave up a shit ton to Aaron Rodgers as well. But the Chiefs...
And God bless them for it, too, Coach.
Yes, thank God. I still think it's going to be a Packer win. But I'm also biased. But I just don't think the Chiefs without Pat Mahomes.
I think you're probably right, honestly.
Yeah.
Because this will... I guess if anything, the Chiefs get a chance to show that they're not just a one-trick show here with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Yes. They don't need P. Homie to win a game, but I think they do.
It's like
I think they do too, but it is definitely their chance to show that that's not true.
Yeah. The thing was, the thing for me is, like, maybe at the start of the season I'd be a little worried, but after watching that last week, it was one of those things where I watched that and I'm like, we're just firing on all cylinders. Like, we're hitting that stride where it's like Rodgers is going crazy. Like, our offense looks good, our defense looks good, our special teams good. Like, we're hitting that point where I'm just like, I'm not even worried.
Yep, Coach, again, celebrating National Nut Day.
Yep. I was going to point out a fun statistic, NFL team stats, about offensive lines real quick. So if we look at the offensive line stat that I brought up earlier, where the Jets and Buccaneers rank at the bottom.
Yeah, thanks, Coach.
The top 10 teams in offensive lines are the Steelers, Colts, Raiders, 49ers, Chiefs, Cowboys, Patriots, Lions, Packers, Rams. If you look at the worst offensive lines, obviously it's those teams we mentioned earlier. Then there's above the Dolphins, the Broncos, the Bengals, the Cardinals, the Texans, the Giants, the Falcons, the Redskins, the Seahawks, and the Ravens. So what I realized is, out of all the teams in the bottom half of the offensive line rankings, the Ravens, Seahawks, and Texans are all winning teams down there, but they all have mobile quarterbacks. And so that helps the offensive lines that are actually really shitty not look as bad. But when you see it here, you're like, eh. So really the only team on here that has an offensive line that's really bad without a mobile quarterback is probably the Giants. And even then, they're not really a winning team.
So, Rob, great job picking the Chiefs last week. High fives all around.
Absolutely.
I don't know how Coach and Bear, I'm not sure what they were smoking that day. And for the record, all of us were on the Packers, and all of us were also on the 49ers. And the Jets, we all know who were.
Yeah.
Including Rob's lock. So good job, Rob.
Indeed, yeah.
Then we had the Rams beat the Falcons, which I was like surprised, but I wasn't surprised. You know?
Well, we should be, because Rob is the only one who picked them to win.
Yeah. I was very surprised to see you guys pick the Falcons.
Well, I just had hope that Matt Ryan would go off, and he did not. He went 16 of 27, actually. 159 yards and a pick, and it looks like Matt Schaub came in, went 6 for 6 with a touchdown.
Yeah, Schaub
Ryan's down. He's out. So like that's it for Matt Ryan this year, maybe, or at least for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I did, to be fair, I will say this because Hippo Nora offered me the Rob option. I chose not to do it because I'm a real man. But Hippo Nora did ask me if I wanted to take a win under the condition that if Todd Gurley played, because if you recall, I said if Gurley played, the Rams will win this, and I chose not to because I'm not big B with a little P.
Well, I mean, I'm going to say, as speaking from the perspective of a man with the big B with a little P, I would have happily allowed you to take that win.
I know, but that's like such the fence sitter argument of taking, But I did say to my credit, I did say that if Gurley does play, that they're going to win, and they did handily.
I think what we get out of this game is that the Falcons are bad.
Yeah, I don't think we gleaned any particularly new information out of this one.
I mean, they're worse than the Bucs record-wise, but I'd still pick them over the Bucs.
They have
I don't know. I think the Bucs would win
without Matt Ryan. I don't know, but it's not like Matt Schaub is like trash.
Their defense is just so bad.
Yeah,
the defense
is
terrible.
Really bad. Like, if you look at all the games they've played this year and the points they've allowed, it's a lot of points.
Yeah.
They allowed 37 to the Rams, 34 to the Cardinals, 53 to the Texans, 24 to the Titans, 27 to the Colts, 20 to the Eagles. What?
So
37 to the Rams.
So 24 is the lowest.
And 28 to the Vikings. Yeah, 24. No, 20 is the lowest because the Eagles lost to the Falcons.
That's wild.
Yeah.
The Rams did to the Falcons what the Niners should have done to the Redskins.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you guys are overhyping how bad the Redskins defense is, in fairness. Like, I think what they did to the Bengals is what I'm
not doing that. I'm saying the 49ers offense
should have done better. Yeah, it's not a dig at the Redskins. No one cares about the Redskins.
No, but that's what I mean.
Jimmy Garoppolo should have like smoked the Redskins. Because I think that the Redskins defense is worse than the Falcons defense on some levels.
I don't know.
I'm just saying it's this. All I'm saying is this to strengthen the argument that the 9-0 should have been more like 30-0.
Yeah, I mean, if they're for real, they definitely should have done.
Yeah, that's the only argument we're trying to make.
Yeah, that's reasonable too.
Then we had the Colts beat the Texans in the AFC South showdown.
I'm never gonna let Bear influence one of my picks again because if you recall, I wanted to pick the Colts.
And I'm gonna be honest, I'm never going to doubt the brisket again. Like I've been riding his train like this whole year, but I still was just like, I still think the Texans are gonna.
Now, to be fair, this is one of those games that the refs did take away at least one touchdown away from the Texans.
Yes,
Texans
and it was
bullshit. Yeah, and it was total BS.
Yeah,
it was.
And I hate the argument that as a football player, as someone who used to play football, not at a professional or collegiate level, but still as someone who knows the game and who is competitive and loves football, I absolutely hate the argument. Well, they should never put themselves in position to begin with to lose by the referee's call. This goes for any sport, by the way, not just football. Can we please drop that whole sentiment because it's total horseshit.
Yeah,
you cannot say that. Oh well, the Saints would have won if they just didn't put themselves in the position to get screwed by the refs in the NFC championship game. That's not the point.
Yeah,
that's such a well, we told you so, or I didn't vote for the guy sort of.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that's such crap because the referees I have never seen
victim blaming. It's literally victim blaming.
Yeah, like, I mean, I have never seen through 7 weeks of football more games decided by the referees in my entire life.
I agree.
Have been so many blown calls that have cost games.
Dude, when I was watching,
for better or worse, I mean, it's been horrible.
I will fully affirm what you just said too. Like it is more this year than I have seen, even more than last year when we had the roughing the passer bullshit.
Yeah, for the entire season. I mean, we're only going into week 8, and there have been multiple games that have been completely changed by terrible referee calls.
Dude,
like I don't want to put my
Romo in the sky booth.
Yes. Well, they need anything. The refs the refs are the ones that shot down the idea of the sky judge in the first place. It was the ref association. And it's like, honestly, I'm starting to get this tinfoil hat fitted, boys, because it really does look like, the optics of it really does look like the refs are purposely throwing calls. And that is horrible for the NFL because and it is sort of what I said last week, is like, whether or not it is actually happening, it definitely looks like it. And that is horrible for the perception of the brand of what the NFL is.
Yeah, I'm not going tinfoil hat on this one. But the Texans were absolutely robbed out of at least one touchdown in this game.
Yeah. Well, it looked. I mean, the with the pass interference calls, they've only accepted one.
Yeah, it looks like. What's the point of letting people challenge it if you're not going to overturn it and look at the right thing? It doesn't make any sense.
That's what I mean. It really does look like they're blatantly rebelling against the NFL right now.
Well, it's not only that, but as someone who isn't quite as cynical, what it looks like is this is just more time that the NFL gets to run ads.
Right? Yeah. I mean, true. Yeah. That's
because they've only overturned one in the entire season, to my knowledge, anyway.
I wonder which one that was.
What's the point?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I'd like to know which call was.
It was in the. I think it was a Texans game that they did it.
Really?
It was either a Texans game or a Bucs game, I want to say.
Oh, and you know what? I'm gonna use our new text channel effectively. Yes. I'm gonna link
here we go.
The Twitter video that I linked. Of the touchdown that got robbed.
Yeah.
Oh, you made it in the throne, not the or the Rob server, not the
foosball.
Ball. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, because that's a DM group, so I can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the video of it. It was just straight up a robbery. That was a dope fucking touchdown too.
Yeah.
Like, it was an awesome. Like, it wasn't even like it was just like a touchdown. It was a bad call. It was like, that was a sick touchdown. Like, that would have been on fucking highlight reels. That was awesome. That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And they robbed it. The refs were just like, no, actually, it was a sack, even though he never went down. That's what a sack looks like. That's what I mean. That's why I'm saying, like, the optics of it looks silly, because they're just doing things that a person with eyes, not even a person who knows football, a person with eyes sees. Well, that's patently absurd.
Yeah,
they said he was down by contact when, like, Deshaun Watson never stopped moving.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point in that time. Like, he was hopping when he threw that, got the pass off, and it was a touchdown. Like, that's just one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, like, again, I hate the argument of saying, like, well, they should have never been in that situation. That is such a wishy-washy argument.
Yeah.
That provides absolutely no bearing on, like, how a game should have ended or not. Like, I mean, I mean it. It's sincerity. Like, I have no recollection of any other season through the first 7 games that has been affected more than terrible calls than this year.
Yeah.
And I don't even like the Texans. I don't even like the teams that have been. Like, I hate the Saints, but they got robbed last year. Yeah. And it was like, well, they should have been down. They could have been up by more if Foles, if Breeze had made that one great pass and blah blah. It's like, okay, let's go back in hindsight and say how many times teams should have scored just to prevent them from getting screwed by the refs. Like, that's
exactly.
It's
like, then
so
we'd have to make some sort of, like, retroactive account and reassign yards.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. That's the reason that it's stupid that a third-party group is deciding the outcome of a contest between 2 teams. Like, it's just dumb.
The most maddening thing is that you can have all of these. You can have all of these like analysts who call up, like, like Mike Pereira or former referees, former heads of staff for the referee association, and they all say in the commentating booth, like, yeah, that's clearly pass interference, or yeah, he shouldn't have been called down. And then, like, the refs who the ones who are actually officiating the game say the complete opposite.
Yeah.
That has happened so often this season. It's like, how can the guys at the booth who they're not even on the field, they can see this, but they're getting the call right and you're getting it wrong, and you're the one who's actually officiating the game.
Tony Romo is actually really good at calling like every single thing. Like he was doing the Packer game, and he would just be like, "Oh, Carr fumbled it. That's a fumble in the end zone." They'd just be like, "Oh, it looked like he stepped out, but there's no conclusive evidence." And they'd be like, "It looked like there's no conclusive evidence," and they would just like keep calling everything right. And I'm like, "Dude,
Romo's he's
the best. He's so fucking good."
I didn't like him as a quarterback because I don't like the Cowboys, but like as soon as he was done, he easily should be on the top analyst team for any channel.
He is. I think he is number one, and I don't think number two is even close.
Oh yeah, it's not.
He's number one by far.
Yeah.
It's like amazing how much he analyzes like every single, like even when he would like do
and he's
things.
Funny, like he cracks, like he teaches me things and he cracks jokes and makes me laugh and stuff.
Yeah,
he is the ideal of what an NFL commentator
and he gives like real insight. Like when Aaron Rodgers made one throw, I was like, "That's a good throw," and he's like, "That's actually a really good throw." Like you see the way like he's got to fit it into this area when you do that on the feet, and I was like, "Whoa, I didn't know that." Like I just thought it was a good throw. I'm like, "All right."
Yeah, too bad the Bucs will never have him commentate. He only commentates games.
Yeah.
So congrats to Coach for picking the Colts.
Yep.
And thank you to Bear in hindsight for making me.
Brisket, 326 yards, 4 TDs, 0 picks.
Yep. Brisket he's for real, I think.
It's a real deal, man.
He is the real deal, for real. But like, just one more quick note about Tony Romo. 2 weeks ago, I complained about Booger McFarland filleting Tom Brady 2 weeks ago. Tony Romo casted a Jets game, and he just loves Sam Darnold, so he was just like filleting him all game, and I loved it. It was great.
Of course,
So we had the Vikings Lions 42-30. Vikings won that one.
Yes, indeed.
My theory has now been crushed. Kirk Cousins threw the ball 34 times, 337 yards, 4 TDs, and they won the game. Stafford had 30-45, 364 yards, 4 TDs, and a pick.
That's what I get listening to Coach and his crazy theories.
Yeah, well, I thought the Lions were going to come out here and like just kind of, play some solid defense.
At home, you would think that they would stop Kirk Cousins at home, but
they're up 14-7 in the first.
So,
Kirk,
21-21 at halftime.
Bear.
Kirk. Big Dick Cousins.
Yo, actually, it's funny that you say that in such an incredulous fashion, Sinvicta, because I'm glad that we made it to the Vikings-Lions game, because there's stats that I would like to bring up.
All right.
Oh man, Kirk Cousins wins a game, and Rob is ready to just fire on all the barrels.
You're right. Yeah, it's just one game. That's what I'm so excited about. In fact, I'm so glad you loaded me up with that disclaimer. So, so let's take a look at the NFL. Let's look at the stats. Top passer rating in the league. Number one is, would you look at that? It's Kirk Cousins. Yards per attempt. Number one is, that's strange. It's Kirk Cousins. Passing touchdown percentage.
Wait. No, hold on. I think I got this one.
Yeah, go for it.
Kirk Cousins.
He is right.
Wow.
Let's see him do it in the playoffs.
Passer rating index.
He can't win in the playoffs.
Oh, but he's not in the playoffs, is he, Sinvicta? He's not in the playoffs right now at all. So it's not just one game. It's a series of games that he's playing over the course of this year in which he is doing quite well.
Talk to me in 8 more weeks, Rob, and let's see how Kirk Cousins is doing.
Right now,
dude, I got a crazy
like
stat.
The Vikings are doing
Number
quite well.
2 in fumbles. Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, that's great and not new information.
I will say he played well. All right, here's the thing: the biggest difference.
He's been playing well for this whole season.
If you consider throwing a game-clinching interception to the division rival, it's leading the division right now in the end zone at the end of a game.
Hold on. I get Victor says, Kirk Cousins has one good game, and now you're all and so the reverse
I didn't say
to
one
that,
good game.
So
I said he wins one game finally.
So the reverse to that, of course, is that the reason that he's bad is one bad game.
Bad play.
Yeah, like,
No,
not
here's
even
the
one
thing.
bad
All right.
game, one
Let's
bad
take,
throw.
okay.
yeah,
I'm gonna
one
bring up,
bad throw. Yeah,
I'm bringing up the stats. All right.
please do. They
First week.
are.
He beat Atlanta by throwing the ball 10 times. I could probably do that. All right.
Uh-huh.
Then he loses to Green Bay. All right. 1 TD, 2 picks, 43% completion percentage.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Then he beats Oakland, who he had 174 yards, 1 TD, threw the ball 21 times. All right. Aaron Rodgers just lit them up like they were the New York Jets on Monday Night Football. All right. Then he goes to Chicago. All right. He goes 27 of 36, 0-0, and loses. Then he goes to the Giants. He beats the Giants. All right. Cool. Then he beats the Eagles. All right. The Cowboys just shit on the Eagles now. So I'm like, what's happening to the Eagles? And then he beats Detroit, who it's like, here's the thing. They can't run the ball. They had 29 yards on 10 carries from Ty Johnson. Their leading
that's
rusher.
what convinced me to pick the Vikings.
All right. Meanwhile, does he have any running game help for him? Oh, he does. 142 yards and 2 touchdowns for Dalvin Cook, which, you know,
exactly.
that,
Which is exactly what I've been saying. Kirk Cousins
Which is separate from Kirk
Kirk
Cousins.
Cousins is a mirror. He
But
Kirk Cousins is Dalvin Cook. That's what
Kirk
he
Cousins
is.
is Dalvin Cook. The entire.
here's the difference.
He's
All
a
right.
running back.
If Dalvin Cook doesn't do well, Kirk Cousins has to do well, and he doesn't. If somebody like Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson doesn't have a running game, they carry the team.
Yeah, I agree. I've
Yes.
never not agreed with that point.
All right.
I have never once not. I have always said Kirk Cousins is a slightly above average quarterback.
And
you
I
guys
agree
all
with that.
have, you
He's
guys
not
all
underrated like Drew Brees.
that's certainly true. But he's but you guys want to frame him as like the worst or one of the
I just
worst.
think he's
and
overrated.
It's not true.
Dude,
I-
Kendall, I think
I-
you're just mad because he broke your formula of throwing for 30 or more
Did
passes
break
and
my
winning the
formula, and I'm upset.
Like, the only reason I keep reading up because like right now he is 4th in completion percentage. He is 1st in touchdown percentage. He's 13th in interception percentage, which is actually quite high.
Right here this week, right here.
He's number 1 in yards per attempt. He's number 1 in quarterback rating. He's number 2 in NEA.
I'm 99% on your side on this argument, but I will side with them and say that he's got to perform in the playoffs first. So we got to see.
agree. No. I totally agree. He is still very much a slightly above average quarterback to me, who right now I think is having a great run. And I think he's capable of those things. And I think he's a mirror to your team. Like he will play to the level of your team. And their team, I think, is very good right now.
The thing is, they're probably not going to win the division, so he's going to have to win a playoff game on the
Exactly.
road, and
Which
he's
never
not
been
going
able to
to.
do.
I don't have a lot of faith that he would do that either on his own. I think if they win in the playoffs, it will be a team effort, and it would have to be because I think that's who Kirk Cousins is.
Well, that's the thing is they're paying him the 6th most money in the NFL, and he's not
So win
the
the
6th
regular
best player in the
season.
NFL.
Yeah, but see, even those conversations are always kind of taken out of proportion because every QB that is a starter is going to get well, I shouldn't say every because there are guys like Bortles or Mariota or whatever who will take lower contracts. But for the most part, if you're a starter on a team, you're gonna get the next highest contract for a QB. So really, the order in which he's paid, like against other players' contracts, is more, I think, indicative of when they signed that contract rather than indicative of their skill or whether or not the team is getting their bang for their buck.
I
if
just
you
like
have
ripping on
starting
him because of
calories-
how much Rob loves Kirk Cousins.
I don't. You guys just hate him. Like I just feel like
I do think it's more that you guys hate him, honestly.
I don't even
Like,
hate him. I just
It's actually Sinvicta particularly that it just has this weird grudge against Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I don't. The only reason why I rip him is because Rob loves him so much.
I don't even hate him. I just hate the
Just don't.
Vikings. So whoever their quarterback
you
is,
have-
I don't
that's
like.
fair.
You're congratulating.
Congratulatory.
Yeah,
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Contractually obligated to not like.
I want him to do bad, but I don't hate him.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I'll never listen to Krendor about convincing me about some weird stat either. Just like Bear, I'm not gonna listen to anybody to influence my picks anymore.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I hope that's abundantly clear at this point.
I don't either because I locked the Bengals against the Jaguars.
You locked the Bengals.
You did. Yeah.
And,
picked the Bengals over the Jaguars.
Oh, by the way, just a little humble brag here. I was the only one above 500 this week in picks.
Yeah. Well done.
Wow.
Yes.
So
It's great.
Andy Dalton, 276 yards, 1 TD, 3 interceptions. He also led
Dalton
the team.
special.
Oh my God, this is so bad. Oh my God. Okay. The leading rusher of the Bengals was Andy Dalton with 33 yards and a touchdown. Would you like to guess the second leading rusher?
Giovanni Bernard, perhaps, who I think is still their leading running back.
Close. He was third. Guess who was second?
Yeah, it's Joe Mixon because he's on my freaking fantasy team.
He ran 10 carries for 2 yards.
Yep.
A 0.2 yard average. Then followed by Giovanni Bernard, who had 4 carries for 0 yards. And Alex Erickson ran 2 carries for -2 yards.
Mixon's their feature back then.
Their running backs
Yeah.
ran for a total of 0 yards.
Oh my god.
It's amazing that I even
It's 0
Literally
yards.
only Dalton has Andy Dalton is the old one with rushing yards in that game. That's insane.
Actually really sad.
The only reason why I got any points from Mixon because I was watching as the stats were ticking up. I was like, is he injured or something? The only reason why he got me 7.4 points was because he caught a 1-yard touchdown reception.
Dude, that was the most they were involved in the passing game too. Bernard caught 2 passes for 4 yards, and Mixon caught that lone touchdown. Like they weren't involved at all.
That's really sad.
It's incredible that I scored 170 points this week.
Man. Well, that's the Bengals, so I'm never locking them, maybe even picking them ever again.
Are you done with this trend of locking terrible teams now, Coach?
Here's the thing. We could have 2-0-16 teams. Do the Bengals and Dolphins play each other?
I think you're just picking the wrong upset.
I don't know.
There are upsets, but the Bengals.
Hey, I've had like
not
a
among
couple. I just swing like for the fences every pitch. And I'm like,
Yeah, you'll look good. You'll look good one week saying, "I told you the Texans are gonna lose."
Dude, pull the Colin Cowherd thing. Just just send out as many takes as possible and only bring back the ones that you were right about.
Oh yeah,
dude.
Minshew, 15 of 32, 255 and a TD. So not the best completion percentage, but hey, you got it done.
Yeah, wins a win.
Fournette, 131 yards. Big day for Leonard Fournette, who is the only player above Christian McCaffrey in terms of total yards.
Dude,
wow.
That is an impressive stat, but sorry, I also just found y'all got to bookmark this right before Christmas. It's the gift that keeps on giving. December 22nd, 10 a.m. Pacific, Bengals at Dolphins.
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
That's
humdinger of the year.
They actually do it.
We thought the Redskins Dolphins was going to be the feature game this season. For the record, the Jaguars do not play against the Bengals, but they do have a really tough schedule coming up for the rest of their season, except for next week, which is against the Jets. So,
fantastic.
That is the week after the Bengals get a visit from the New England Patriots, so they'll be fresh off that game, I'm sure.
Ooh.
Have the you know what? I maybe I've not been given the Bengals a fair shake. What teams have they faced? Are they good teams?
They looked pretty good against the Seahawks week 1, I remember. And that's why I was like, all right, they're not too bad. And then
I mean, hey, their first 3 weeks were Hawks, Niners, Bills, actually Steelers, and Ravens. Yeah, I mean, they had a pretty tough schedule, actually.
But
I don't think the Steelers are like, oh man, I had to play the Steelers.
No, but it is divisional, and it's not like the Steelers have a bad defense,
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like the Bengals just don't have a running game or an offensive line, and that's
true.
Or a very good defense anymore, and it's just kind of
I think that without having a true passing attack, or not a passing tag, but they need AJ Green back.
Oh yeah, they very much
They just
do.
need Dalton he's partnerless out there.
Yeah.
And getting smoked, but
they're kind of like the AFC's Atlanta Falcons right now, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they're averaging less than 50 yards a game on the ground, much less. I'm doing the numbers in my head, but like it's bad.
Yeah.
Unlike the Patriots, who are not bad.
Quite so.
In Cincinnati, right? Like, I know I asked it last week, but like, they gotta hate Zach Taylor now, right? So, almost certainly, like, they gotta feel pretty confident that he should get a single year.
Yeah,
I think, right?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I would not want him back as my coach.
Well, week 14 and week 17, we have something to look forward to. The Browns play the Bengals.
Oh man,
let's go.
Hell yeah!
The two remaining games for the Bengals that they have a really legitimate shot at winning.
Yeah,
because the rest of their schedule is man.
So speaking of bad teams, the Dolphins lost to the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah,
they're actually winning at one point.
Yeah, it's surprisingly close.
They keep doing that. Like they keep making people think they can play.
Yeah, they
and then
Fitzpatrick.
Oh well, it was off the back of Fitzmagic a little bit too, actually.
That was all the magic he had.
Yeah,
used it up in the second quarter, and then he's just out of gas.
You saw him over there on the sideline, looking at an empty vial with kind of a confused look, like where did it go?
So yeah, that was that game. Really,
he did have a rushing touchdown too.
He did. Josh Allen, 202 yards, 2 TDs. Frank Gore, 55 yards. John Brown, 83 yards and a touchdown. And then the defense did stuff. So, I mean, pretty much a free win for Buffalo. Even though it was close, it's still a free win.
That's why no one's allowed to lock against the Dolphins.
Bills are the quietest 5-1 team in the NFL right now by far.
I did mention last week that they're probably the second best team in the AFC right now.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think so too. Then we had the Cardinals beat the Giants.
Yeah, another close game.
Kyler Murray, though, 14 of 21, 104 yards. And that's it.
I doubted him. All of us did, since we all picked the Giants. But the Cardinals have got a shot, man. They're surprising me, and I'm still not convinced that Kyler Murray is as good as he could be right now. But with it being his first year, he's doing real good.
Also,
he's doing real well, I should say.
I will say their offense was pretty much Chase Edwards, 126 yards and 3 touchdowns. Running
Chase
the ball.
Edmonds.
Chase Edmonds. Sorry.
Yeah. So actually, so far, looking at their record, the Cards have beaten bad teams or middling teams. So that is that's pretty good. All things considered, like they actually might even.
I think the Giants. I don't think the Giants are. I think I said this last week too. I don't think that they're as bad as their record reflects.
I agree, but I think they're
not great.
I think they're middling. That's where
they're not. They're better than the bad teams, but they're not the great teams.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And
so that's what I'm saying. Like right now, their wins are Bengals, Falcons, Giants. So like 2 bad teams, 1 middling team, and they have a tie with the Lions. And I think the Lions are probably right around middling, right?
Yeah.
And they lost to the Ravens, the Panthers, and the Seahawks. Outside of the Panthers being a potential anomaly, but honestly maybe not, because Kyle Allen is continuing to do well.
Man,
those are good teams right now that are probably all playoff teams. And so I got to say, like, the Cardinals look like they're pretty good. They might actually make the playoffs this year.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. Their schedule,
possible.
Their schedule coming up is pretty brutal. They've got the Saints.
It is.
They've got the Saints. They've got the Niners 2 out of 3 weeks after that. They with the Buccaneer games like sprinkled in there. Then the Rams, the Steelers, the Browns, which is going to be a win, but like Seahawks and Rams again, like the only 2 possible probable wins out of those remaining 8 games is they can beat the Bucs for sure and the Browns. I don't see them beating the Saints at New Orleans, the Niners at any point. the Rams, I mean, I don't see them beating the Rams either. And maybe the Steelers, but they're definitely not beating the Seahawks in Seattle.
I think the Cardinals can go like
them...
7-ish wins.
They won't make the playoffs. Is what I'm getting at here.
Yeah,
if they do, it will be a miracle. They'll have to beat some pretty good teams on the road, not including the Bucs or the Browns.
I mean, if you look at the NFC, like the NFC is actually pretty solid right now. Like if you look at the
Their
standings,
division alone is impossible to get out of.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
rough.
Like it's gonna be the NFC East winner, then probably the Packers and Vikings, and then the Panthers and Saints, and then you've got the 49ers, Seahawks on top of that, and then the Rams still aren't even in there if they're competing, or the Eagles. So I mean, you have to get ahead of all those teams, and it's
like I'm not saying it wouldn't be a long road, but
I think it's a long road.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that it wouldn't be. Like, it definitely is. But I could see them splitting with the Rams. I could see them beating the Bucs. I could see them beating the Steelers. I could see them beating the Browns, and I could see them actually splitting with the Hawks this year too. So I honestly think that they're in the range of, somewhere between 6 and 9 wins. Right now, and I think that could, depending on how the rest of the season shakes out, I think that means they could be in the playoffs. But even if it doesn't, I think Cards fans have to be very happy about how this year's playing out so far.
Yeah, it actually gives them hope, which is pretty neat for them. They also
have
had
the best reason, right? It's because Kyler Murray looks good. Like, that's the best reason for them.
We have
to
been
be
saying
promising.
that, but they won this game because of Chase Edmonds. Like,
True, yes.
Kyler Murray only had 104 yards. Pharaoh Cooper was the leading receiver at 29 yards. So not very good. But their defense, Chandler Jones had 4 sacks. 4.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy.
Patrick Peterson came back, had a sack, 7 tackles. Jordan Hicks an interception. Terrell Suggs had a sack. Brooks Reed had a sack. So they had a pretty good defensive performance and a good running game. So that's what won them that game, honestly.
Yeah.
And Barkley only had 72 yards and a touchdown, so they slowed him down a bit. And Daniel Jones looked okay, good enough as a rookie quarterback.
Rookie QB.
Then we had the Ravens Seahawks, which Ravens kind of just ran all over him. Lamar Jackson kind of just ran all over him. Yeah.
Lamar Jackson's on pace to beat Vic's record, by the way.
Wow.
Right now. Yeah.
That's actually insane.
He has more rushing yards than 7 teams this season. Lamar Jackson, that is. He's got more rushing yards than the Chargers, the Falcons, the Steelers, the Bears, the Dolphins, the Bengals, and the Jets.
I've been tooting that horn for a while. This man is scary.
Somehow
and he will fuck people for a long time if he gets it all together. Which honestly, as he keeps going, it seems more and more clear that he is doing that.
Yeah.
If he does that, everyone's fucked, dude.
Except the Cleveland Browns, who destroyed the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, I still don't understand how that happened. It's just like the Jets. I don't understand how they beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you just get some anomaly games or something, but it was not good for the Seahawks. They didn't really do much of this. Kind of just a mediocre game all around for the Seahawks, and they lost at home.
Chiefs beat the Ravens too, man. Like Lamar is. I don't think he's gonna be able to be the Super Bowl winning quarterback that sounds like you're projecting him to be in the future this year, but probably soon, and that sucks.
He needs to hit that point where he can be consistently accurate throwing the ball. We saw it week 1 against the Dolphins, and it's like, all right, it's the Dolphins. Now he's played some harder teams, and he's kind of like, but he has to develop that side still.
So, I agree, but then, just look at his passing stats this year versus last year. It's not to say that he's, here, but it's to say that he's improving.
Yeah.
And that should be scary for everybody else, because if Lamar Jackson improves, he has something that no other quarterback in the NFL has. And not only do they not have it, no quarterback has had it for 20 years.
Yeah.
So
record setting.
Yeah. So So that's really more what I'm into with him. Like maybe he's not there yet, and I think that's definitely true. He's in his second year, and he barely passed last year.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if he gets all the pieces together, he will dominate the league. And we don't know. We don't know what a Michael Vick that could pass really well looks like, because we only kind of got that around the tail end of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because he started preparing more, and that's when he wasn't as Michael Vicky as he had been.
I like that
post-prison Vic.
I like that Michael Vicky.
Why do you mean Michael Vicky?
I like Lamar.
It's better than Ron Mexico for sure.
Yeah.
If you could go back to the 2018 NFL draft, do you think Lamar Jackson goes number 1?
I don't know. No, probably not. Because honestly, I think beyond just his individual skill, him being partnered with John Harbaugh was the perfect situation for him.
Yeah, that is true.
Because it seems like John has developed this system. He completely reoriented an offense completely around Lamar Jackson. And honestly, most coaches in the NFL either can't or will not do that.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if Bruce Arians could do that.
Yeah.
I imagine so. So
why would you get the 2016 Heisman Trophy winner Lamar Jackson when you could get the 2017 Heisman Trophy winner Baker Mayfield?
Very true. Very true.
Clown shoes and all.
So then we had the Titans beat the Chargers. I don't know if you guys saw the end of that game.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was some quality running there, Coach.
Yep. That was the Chargers getting stuffed twice at the goal line and then fumbling it and turning it over. That was like that. If there's a Chargers way to lose a game, that was the most Chargers thing I've seen probably this year.
So they just suck all of a sudden. What happened?
Yeah.
I don't know. Dude, like they have got to be the most shocking turnaround for a team.
Shocking. The lightning bolt Chargers.
I get it. Chargers. The Superchargers.
They just
electricity puns.
Now, to be fair, the Titans defense is pretty good. That's like their best, probably one of their best things. Phillip Rivers did pretty all right, 329 yards, 2 TDs. Melvin Gordon, 32 yards on 16 carries. Eckler had 7 yards on 5 carries. So that's the running game got shut down, especially at the 1-yard line. But on the other side, Tannehill looked a lot better than Mariota. 312 yards, 2 TDs, and a pick.
Yeah, he looked like Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, he looked like an actual quarterback.
Honestly, I'm gonna give a little, because y'all know I love hated or shit on QBs.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Tannehill is definitely better than what he looked like in Miami.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he didn't get a particularly fair shake as a QB, all things considered. That said, I don't think he's a very good. I think he's around Dalton line.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's better than Mariota.
Dude, the Dalton line
so
is
too.
plummeting, by the way. I didn't know
it
happened so quickly.
Yeah.
It's more the Cousins line now, honestly.
Yeah.
Coach, congrats on picking the Titans. This
Thank you.
That was a good call.
I knew it was happening. I did not trust the Chargers, and I'm happy with that.
Chargers on the road, man.
Then, speaking of road wins, the Saints beat the Bears.
Dang old Teddy Bridgewater, man.
And this game was not even close, honestly. Like, it was a blowout.
I hate that I like Bears so much. I ended up going with them to pick the center pick. But it wasn't, to be fair, though, in this arbitrary argument anyway, I also will almost never pick the Saints, regardless of the matchup. So,
there you go.
The Bears' only touchdown up until garbage time was a kick return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And their offense could not do anything. Trubisky had, I think, something like
54 times.
He threw it 54 times, and 80% of those throws were under 10 yards.
Yeah, actually, he threw it 54 times. He had less than 5 yards per attempt.
Yep.
That is abysmal.
Yeah.
And congrats to the Bears for setting a new Super Bowl era record. They had the fewest carries in a game, 7.
Yep. 10 yards
What
for
is
Tariq
with
Cohen.
these? I haven't seen rushing stat lines like this in this frequency. It feels like in years, man. Like rushing games are just abysmal on so many teams.
Passing
right now.
meta's back.
They used to have Jordan Howard, and Howard was their typical like one cut downhill guy. Like he's gonna make guys miss by running into them and like bouncing off guys. Now they have Cohen and Montgomery, who are two like more agile runners, and I don't think they have anybody that can kind of just smash in through the line anymore. And I think that's kind of hurting them.
But no matter what, like if you run the ball 7 times, you haven't figured out anything. You've just given up. You're not even trying anymore at that point.
Yeah, you can run 7. You can run the ball 7 times in a single drive.
Yeah,
that for an entire game across three backs.
It's like you assume around 75 plays, so that's like you're running at about 9% of the time. That's
especially when your quarterback is Mitch Trubisky. Like, he's not even that good.
Yeah, but you know, one thing that I will say to play like a little bit of a neutral devil's advocate, I would say that part of the trend, I think, would be part of the trend of rushing attempts going down is that almost every running back in the league today is also a pass catching back. And even when I first started watching football, that wasn't a thing. You know, like when I first started watching in 2009, like the running backs that could catch were still like heralded as running backs that could catch, like Darren Sproles and stuff. But now running backs are often used in the passing game, and a lot of the ways that they are used is with passes that are thrown behind the line or screens and stuff like that, or options, and those they're not counted as rushes, but they're basically rushes. You know, like a little bubble screen it's a rushing play pretty much. It's just he's not handing it off. You know, so I would say that largely that trend is part of that, but all things considered, out of the plays they ran, running only 9% of the fucking time is horrible. Like that's just so dumb.
That's such a man. That reminds me of like that. Never mind, it's not worth the explanation. But
I feel you.
All right. I've been there, man. Analysis is really all I meant to say, because like, that's very true. But at the same time, it didn't fucking matter, because you're right. Running it 9% of the time doesn't work, obviously, for anyone ever.
The gambler's fallacy. Well, I didn't win on this slot pull, so this entire slot machine sucks.
It's
go to a different game.
Like, one of the reasons I love our new coach so much is McCarthy was that. McCarthy was the like, hey guys, the running game's working, we're gonna pass now. Hey guys, the running game isn't working, we're gonna pass now. And he would just always fall back. Yeah, he would always fall back to Aaron Rodgers and then try like bubble screens and shit that would fail. And our new coach is like, hey, we actually have 2 decent running backs. We're just gonna keep pounding the ball even if it's not working. And eventually it starts working because the defense gets worn down. And I'm like, dude, this is great. I love this. A coach that actually knows what he's doing.
The Bears have had they've had fewer than 300 total yards in each game this season.
So, as somebody who listens to the Chicago sports radio, and loves hearing the agony that the Bear fans are now going through after this was supposed to be Super Bowl year, you get the guys calling in like, this offense is built on trick plays, and now you can't do trick plays. What's he doing? Where's the corners? No Trubisky. Bench him. Put in Chase Daniel.
It's more like Trubisky. Am I
right? Go give me some of that Polish sausage.
So they're having some meltdown issues. Nagy's like freaking out at the media. Like, the media was calling him out, and he's like, I don't want to hear this shit. And he was like yelling at the media. Like, he was telling all his players to not go on Twitter. Like, they've been yelling at media people. Like, they mocked Tariq Cohen's height on the Saints, and someone tweeted it, and he was like yelling at the people who tweeted it. Like, they're starting to go crazy.
In fairness to Tariq Cohen, though, on that one, like, they mocked his height, and his tweet was like Why are y'all framing this like it's bullying? Like out here, like I don't know that I'm short. He's 5'6". Like he's just like
It's
you know who's
he doesn't care.
You know who's also 5'6", but way cooler is Jose Altuve for the Houston Astros.
Dude, I'm 5'7". I'm like a giant compared to them.
Yeah,
but so the Bear, I actually mentioned this I think last year for the Jags, but I think it's more fitting for the Bears. The Bears look very much like the 2009 Jets right now. A sort of a lame duck QB who everyone kind of knows is not really the guy, but he's still kind of in there, and you kind of have to go with him because he's on the rookie contract. Yeah, and they have a very good defense. Like it feels very much like the Jets, and unfortunately, I've seen how that goes.
And it's hitting that point where like the offense just can't do anything, so the defense is just constantly out there and getting tired, and then they just get worn out.
Yeah,
we should keep moving.
Yeah. Yes, so
we still got Pickens.
Yep, and then we have the last. So the Bears are having a bad time, and they got to fix it.
And Teddy Bridgewater's great.
And Teddy Bridgewater is actually really good.
Yeah,
I'd like him to start over anybody.
Then the Cowboys crushed the Eagles somehow. I don't know how. This Cowboys team that just got destroyed by the Packers, destroyed by the Jets, and then they come out and just crush the Eagles, who'd been playing well prior to, I guess, last week when they lost to the Vikings.
I mean, Carson Wentz, man. He's on a downward trend, man. I believed in Wentz, even though I don't care nor like the Eagles, but I thought that Carson Wentz, coming off of that win against who they play previously, they won 2 weeks ago. I thought they were like fired up, ready to go. Like okay, they're about to make their drive through the midpoint of the season. I cannot believe that they lost this game that badly.
Now, I guess going back here, they beat the Redskins, then they lost to the Falcons, which doesn't look good now. They lost to the Lions, they beat the Packers, they slaughtered the Jets.
Packers. Yeah.
Then they lost to the Vikings, now lost to the Cowboys. So now I'm kind of like,
they've also haven't they had they've got to have like, unless I'm crazy and I'm only seeing this because of confirmation bias, it feels like the Eagles have had a different lead running back in every game they've played so far this year.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah, I just don't know. I feel like I know they've had some defensive injuries and stuff, but like I don't know. I know they have a lot of drop passes. I know that's.
I will say, though, like they have with Aguilar.
Aguilar.
Actually, there was a tweet. I probably won't be able to find it now, but there was a tweet of Nelson Aguilar like putting his hands slightly out for a ball that was like right there, and then just deciding not to and putting his hands back at one point. It's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Carson Wentz was fired up after beating the Packers at Lambeau. That's when I was like, Eagles are looking kind of scary. That was after they came from a tough loss against the Lions.
Yeah.
And they beat the Jets, which is just a past week. But then losing back-to-back for the Vikings and Cowboys, I'm convinced that they probably aren't going to do anything against the Bills. They could probably beat the Bears because the Bears have no offense. But the rest of the schedule, they only have 2 more free wins against the Dolphins and the Redskins. Everything else is against either middling or very tough opponents, including the New England Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not certain of what this Eagles team is, but I wouldn't read too far into an NFC East divisional matchup because those are always like fucking crazy. But I also would say that I think the rumors of Carson Wentz's demise are largely exaggerated because he's still at 1,700 yards.
I didn't say he was on the brink of demise.
No.
I think he's on a downward spiral now.
But I'm not speaking specifically just to you. Like, I think that's been the implication. I think because the Eagles are 3-4, but he's got 1,700 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 4 picks on the year. He's doing quite well. He's top 10 right now. So, but it just seems like the Eagles overall are just not a complete team.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. So yeah, again, the NFC East, a shit show. Who would have thought?
And we all picked the Eagles to win. So
Yeah.
What the hell do we know?
Yep.
I mean, the Cowboys didn't even look good the last couple. I don't know. Whatever.
For real, dude. NFC East, man, it's crazy.
They lost to the Jets.
I know.
Yeah.
It's insane. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't get it. So it's time for the NFL Power Rankings.
NFL Power Rankings, Coach. Bible of the Internet going to Week 8. Here we go, guys. Top 5, starting with Robert. Go.
Patriots.
Yep. Bear.
I don't know.
Sorry. Shit.
I'm not sure.
Bills?
Oh.
Who'd you say?
Bills?
That is incorrect.
What?
Packers.
Yeah, Robert.
You
got 2 more strikes.
The Saints.
Yep. Bear.
The Niners.
Yep. One more, Coach. You got 2 strikes. Can you get it? This one's tough.
Knowing the
By the way,
NFL, the Cowboys.
Robert, for the win or for the loss?
All right, the Hawks.
It's
Fuck, it's the Vikings,
incorrect.
isn't
It
it?
is the Vikings.
Yeah.
The
Huh.
Vikings climbing 3 positions, going on into the top 5 for the first time in a long time. And you guys are correct on the other points, so good job on that. Here we go for the fattest doink. The fattest doink of the week, guys. I'll give you a hint. It belongs to a team that has dropped 6 spots, and they were sent tumbling down like their offense deserves. One guess, starting with Robert. Go.
6 spots.
They went
spots.
from
the Bears.
Bear.
The Giants.
And Coach.
Probably the Bears.
It is indeed the Bears, dropping
Let's
from
go.
9th place down to 15th. Thanks to the loss. Capped off by, well, we already talked about that game, so good job. Now, the fattest dink.
I believe you're looking for the skinny dink of the day.
The skinny dink of the week. Looking back into the top 10 here, I'll give Coach the honor for this one to guess that they moved up 7 spots to go back into the top 10 for the first time in a long time.
I'll go with the Colts.
Indirectly incorrect, but close. It is the Baltimore Ravens going from the 17th spot going into the top 10. Now, moving on to Robert.
Mm-hmm.
True or false? The Buffalo Bills are still in the top 10 of the NFL Power Rankings.nfl.com rankings of the Bible.
Holy shit! If this is false, I am mad. So I'm gonna go true just so that I'm not mad.
That is incorrect. The Bills have fallen down to the 11th spot.
Don't tell me the Cowboys passed them.
Being usurped by the Ravens, the Texans, the Chiefs, and the Dallas Cowboys, sitting at the 7th spot.
Kidding me?
Rising 4 ranks to go from 11 to 7th.
Dude, the guy who makes these
What a
power
joke.
rankings wakes up every day
Nope.
with just morning wood. Like, oh, Dak Prescott.
Nope. Don't even worry about it, Coach. Don't even worry about it.
That's
now,
a fucking joke.
I wish Ezekiel Elliott was here to take care
no,
of this.
Coach, you can't do it.
They lost to the Jets.
They did lose.
They lost. Not only did they lose to the Jets, they're 4-3.
Yeah.
The
They did.
Bills are 5-1.
Yeah, that's great. That's good, Rob, but you can't argue with it. Now, on to Bear. Speaking of the Jets, Bear, true or false, the Jets are now ranked below the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
True.
That is absolutely correct. The Bears, or the Bucks, have actually moved up a spot courtesy of Sam Darnold and his 4 interceptions on Monday night.
That game was embarrassing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we
was
covered it in
awful.
depth.
I know
Yeah.
y'all did, I'm sure, but man,
Ooh. It was super. And then on to Coach here for the for the remaining one. Coach Krendor, true or false? The Bengals are actually beating someone with a winning record in the PowerRankings.NFL.com Power Rankings.
That's got to be true.
That's absolutely true. Can you guess the team that they're beating?
I'm gonna go with the Washington Redskins.
That is absolutely correct, Coach. The Bengals, the 0-7 Bengals, are still, despite being 0-7, ranked above the 1-6 Redskins, with the Miami Dolphins rounding it out and the bottom.
That shouldn't even be a win. They beat the Dolphins.
Yeah, well, they did. So
it's like half a win.
Great job, guys. You did well, except for guessing the top 5, but it's tough because Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Kirk Cousins are in the top 5 over the Seahawks, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Texans, and the Ravens.
I was mad that the Bills weren't in the top 5. I am incredibly mad that they're not even in the top 10. Like, that's such bullshit.
No.
They're a division rival, by the way. I'm supposed to hate them. Like, that's bullshit, dude.
Nope.
They're the best team the Patriots have played.
Easily.
They are exactly where they meant to be, Rob. This is the Power Rankings on NFL.com. Back up to Coach in the booth.
Also, Bear, fuck your defense.
Thank you.
It's insane, isn't it,
Bear,
man?
Bear, I love your defense because they're on my fantasy team.
You just have to appreciate historical defense when you see it, dude. It's fucking insane.
Will appreciate it when they beat real competition, which is very soon.
Bills.
So, yeah, but they didn't.
The Bills are an 11th place team in the NFL Power Rankings. So.
Yeah, but the Bills also don't have the greatest offense, and their defense shut you down, and that was the main reason. And
now we have Mohamed Sanu.
Yeah. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So then we had these transactions occurring. Texans acquired Gary and Conley from the Raiders for a 3rd-round pick. I mean, I guess that's probably good for the Raiders. I'd rather have a 3rd-round pick than Gary and Conley, who got torched by Aaron Rodgers this week. Then like you said, Patriots acquired Mohamed Sanu for a 2nd-round pick.
That price worth it.
Yeah,
I don't think it's terribly high for him either, because he's really good, and I think he mostly gets overshadowed by being on a team with Julio.
Yeah,
Julio Jones. Yeah, it would overshadow anybody probably.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, yes. Sanu's been around a long time. So he used to be with the Bengals, right?
Yeah,
he's played since 2012.
Yeah,
with Cincinnati for 4 years, and then the Falcons for 4 years, and he averages. Let's see. So he had. First year was only 154 yards. Then he had 455, then 790, then 400, then 650, 700, 838, 313 this year. So, I mean, he's a solid, like, number 2 type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
you guys want to really be mad at a non-official Bible ranking, but it is off of NFL.com.
All right.
Can you guess the number 1 overall rated offensive player ranked number 1 for 2 weeks in a row now? This isn't the quarterback, though. This is the all. I mean, this includes quarterbacks. But this is all
players.
Offensive players. The number 1 ranked for 2 weeks in a row now. Rob?
Tom Brady.
Bear?
Kirk Cousins.
Coach?
I don't know.
It is a quarterback. I will give you that. It is a quarterback.
Lamar Jackson. I don't know.
It is Russell Wilson.
Oh, yeah, I believe it.
I mean,
he's ranked above Christian McCaffrey at number 2, Dalvin Cook at 3, Ezekiel Elliott at 4, and Aaron Rodgers cracking the top 5.
Did you say it made you mad? That Wilson's having a hell of a year, dude.
Yeah, he's having a really good year.
He also lost this week.
Yeah, I don't know if I keep him up there after this week.
Still, I do want to reiterate my view, which is that wins are not a quarterback stat. But,
Yeah.
No, they're team stat.
Yeah.
But he also didn't play very well this week.
He did not. Yeah.
But he's still ranked number 1.
True. Yeah. I mean, I see where you're coming from. But
if it's going week to week basis, he should be up there.
Yeah. It is week to week.
All
right. He did not move. Neither did Christian McCaffrey, despite being on the bye week.
Okay. Well, in that case, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, that is dumb. Yeah.
On the other wide receiver trade, we had the 49ers getting Emmanuel Sanders from the Broncos for a 5th-round pick and Sanders and a 5th-rounder for the Broncos 3rd and 4th rounders.
Oh.
Yeah, that's going to be a good pickup for the Niners because now they have a quality receiver who has just been stagnating on the Broncos for way too long. So I think that he is. I'm not sure if Jimmy is the guy to get him fired up again, but Emmanuel Sanders did what he could this season with Joe freaking Flacco. So imagine when he doesn't have a terrible quarterback passing to him.
Yeah, that is quite true. And the only other trade we had was Seahawks acquire Quandre Diggs, safety from the Detroit Lions for a 7th-rounder. A 5th-rounder, and they gave up a 7th-rounder. So,
and the Patriots got Sanu.
I said that already.
Did you?
Yeah, we talked about it.
First thing we talked about.
I even went over his stat line.
Yeah.
But I meant like during the news segment though, not like.
Yeah, we had an in-depth conversation.
We had a whole conversation. Yeah, it's the whole thing.
It's like
you were
crazy,
involved,
right?
In fact, actually.
You were there. Yeah.
Invicta, we have to do a concussion protocol right now.
Look, I've been sitting in this panel for over 2 hours now. All right, I'm ready. I got other stuff to do.
It is the Pick'ems time.
Pick'ems.
All right, so our first game of the week is the Thursday nighter Redskins Vikings. Oh Jesus!
Give me the Minnesota Vikings to hopefully propel my fantasy team back to the winning ways.
You know what? I think this is a Vikings, but I actually do think that this is a trap game for Kirk Cousins, and I could totally see him throwing like 3 or 4 picks.
You can't say that after everything that you presented in this show for Kirk
Cousins. Everything I presented in the show was that I believe he is a middle of the road quarterback.
This is very true.
They got Case Keenum and Adrian Peterson, the ex-Viking stars.
Yeah.
I think they'll look good for a quarter, and then they'll fall apart.
I think the Vikings win this, but
I'm picking the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. Okay. Then we have Seahawks Falcons. I'm taking the Seahawks.
Matt Ryan out?
Yes.
He is out.
Even if he wasn't, I would still take the Seahawks.
Yeah.
How long is Matt Ryan out for though?
Doesn't matter. They're bad.
No, it matters for me because I need my fantasy team.
Oh. All right.
Football injury report. I'll look into it. We can keep going.
Seahawks is good for me.
Yeah, the Seahawks.
Same.
Yeah. Then we got Chargers Bears. Ooh.
Go Bears.
Chargers,
I'm gonna go with Chargers.
I think I'm gonna go Chargers too.
I'll take the Bears here.
The Bears are gonna find a weird fucking way to win this game, man. I guarantee it.
Yeah,
they are in Chicago, but
in Chicago. But
here's the thing: I think the Chargers and Bears are both like kind of maybe bad this year, which means that it'll probably be a low-scoring game, and I would put the Bears at an advantage in a low-scoring game.
Oh yeah, I don't think it's going to be low-scoring at all. I think the Chargers are going to blow them out because the Bears have no offense.
Well,
yeah, I think the Chargers.
I think the Tennessee defense is better than the Bears defense, and the Chargers put up 20 on them and should have won that game. But I'm taking the Chargers by a fair margin here.
All right. Yeah, so we're split down there.
Yeah.
Giants, Lions.
Taking the Giants.
This is a tricky game.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Lions. I think they're due for a win.
Man, it's after seeing how they performed though against the Vikings, man. Like,
Yep.
Dude, the Vikings defense is good.
It is good.
It is.
I have trust issues with the Lions, but I think the Giants are probably going to end up losing this one. So I'll give it to Detroit.
All right.
Stafford putting up 4 touchdowns against the Vikings defense is pretty impressive.
Yeah. It's mainly their run defense, which then again, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is that like Saquon is slowly getting back into his rhythm and stuff. And,
all right, you know what? I'm swapping the Giants.
Let's go.
All right. We also use that. We tried to use that logic last week, and they lost to the Cardinals at home. So I'm sticking with the Lions.
That's fair. Right. I think this could be a toss up, but I'm still sticking with.
They're all toss ups at the end.
That's true.
Jets Jaguars, the real toss up.
Jaguars.
Yeah, I actually don't know.
I actually don't know either, because this could be. It's the Jaguars, man. This isn't the Patriots.
Dude, the Jets team I just watched could not be a high school squad. Like,
Yeah,
But they beat the Dallas Cowboys, the leaders of the NFC East and the number 7 overall
team.
team.
And they got shit on. They got shit on by not only probably the best team in football right now, but also the best team that is also a divisional opponent that is also hosted by the greatest coach of all time and led by the greatest QB of all time. So like,
they also happen to be motivated by a weird chip they created on their own shoulders of the fact that they had a 3-5 road record last year. They really hated that.
Yeah.
And so they want to win every single road game this year to put that to bed.
Yeah. So like, I think maybe I think the Jets are bad, but I think reading too far into the Patriots game is a mistake in far determining whether they're good, like where they are. But I don't know. I'm gonna go on Jets here because I'm a Jets fan, but I think that this could go either way, really.
I love that. You've been locking against them for 3 fucking weeks.
Yeah, well, it didn't work last week.
What?
So,
I'm gonna go Jets.
Let's go, Jets.
Right.
I have Le'Veon Bell on my fantasy team, and I hope he does something.
I love
That's
it.
good.
I'll be going for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right. Then we got the Bengals Rams. I'll be taking the Rams.
That's a Rams right there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody Rams. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Buccaneers Titans.
Titans.
I'm also going Titans.
Give me the Tennessee Titans.
Am I the only one who thinks the Bucs can win this game?
Yes,
definitely.
you are. You've been the only one thinking the Bucs are going to do anything.
I believed in them as recently as like earlier this month, man, and I've seen the error of my ways.
All right,
But hey, they didn't lose last week. A hick.
I'll take the Titans here, but honestly, I don't have a huge faith in them.
All right. Eagles Bills.
Gonna be a actual good game. I think the Bills are gonna win.
Yeah, I say Bills.
This is a Bills win too.
I think the Bills defense against Carson Wentz. I take the Bills defense there.
Yeah, I agree
In
with
Buffalo,
Yeah,
definitely.
that. In Buffalo. Broncos Colts. I'll take Colts.
Colts.
Yeah, Colts.
The horse.
In fact, I am locking that in.
Ooh,
baby.
The lock.
Brisket.
I love brisket.
The real deal, dude.
Brisket's fantastic. I mean,
Them
it really
Patriots offspring quarterbacks are really just growing up right in front of our eyes, aren't they, man?
is.
Cardinals Saints.
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 You gotta go Saints, but
Yep.
This is, dude, Rob, this is the game that they probably need to win if you're talking about the Cardinals going to the playoffs.
that might be true, but I don't know.
Playoffs.
I think there's going to be easier games down the line. I mean, that's obvious, but I mean,
they do play the Jets and the Browns coming up.
But we're talking about this being a way to like potentially put another playoff contender further down the peg, though, and that's so much bigger than just winning another game.
I mean, this is going to be a huge game for them, for
Yeah.
sure. Like, if they can manage to win this game, then my view of them will get even higher.
I was actually incorrect. The Cardinals did not play the Jets; play against the Bucks and the Browns.
Yeah. Well,
I got them mixed up with the Jags.
Yeah.
I see.
They were not going to win. I'm trying to just let you know.
Yeah.
They should try to.
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, the Saints have told everyone in the league that they're here to stay. So I mean, but the Cardinals have been showing a lot of promise in a lot of interesting ways. So
Promise ain't gonna beat good teams.
Yeah. I think it's the Saints here, but
Yeah,
I hate to pick the Saints, but
Yeah.
I have to. So
this might be one of the best games of the week. Panthers 49ers.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. I still got the 49ers here, though.
Yep. Give me the Niners.
I'm going to lock that in, actually.
All right. Wow. You know what?
Oh, no, I did it last week. Never mind. I can't do it.
Oh yeah. I'm going McCaffrey's, dude.
yeah, I actually think I am too.
Yeah.
I think this is the upset I'm picking this week. This could be the one that knocks them off their horse. I think it could be the
Panthers defense really good too.
Exactly. That's what I'm looking at.
You two are high as hell, and the Niners just got Emmanuel Sanders. I'm going to take.
Yeah, he's gonna have to learn the playbook and get the ball thrown accurately to him.
He's probably not even gonna play this week.
Go ahead and retroactively lock in the Vikings against the Redskins for me. Let's just get that.
All right.
I like it.
Very brave of you, Bear.
Raiders at Texans.
Texans.
I'm taking Texans too.
The Oakland's been weird, but Texans here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Oakland is definitely weird because like they're kind of good and kind of bad.
Yeah. It was like when they played us this week, like they didn't look bad, like they were good, they just weren't as good. So they just kind of got overshadowed.
Yeah. And Gruden still has a fucking buttload of picks to use too. So next year, even.
Knock on wood if you're with me.
Again, let's be honest. The Texans should have won this past week. So
yeah,
true. Yeah.
Well, it should have at least been like an overtime game or something.
Yeah, but I've got the Texans at home.
All right. Yep, I do too. Then we have Browns Patriots.
I'm sorry, Baker.
You're the Patriots here.
Could have had
Patriots.
I'm going to lock in the Patriots, coach.
He's going to do the same thing he did to Sam Darnold with Baker Mayfield. He's going to make him look like a clown.
Fucking excited, dude. It's going to be so good.
I mean, the Browns have a better offensive line than we do.
No, Robbie. They're going to die. All of them are going to die.
He's going to take him to the Freddie Kitchens and cook up a Baker Mayfield sack interception fiesta.
Remember 7.5 weeks ago when we were like, go Browns. Yeah,
I remember that.
I have jumped that ship a long time ago.
I am still go Browns, but I don't think they will win this week.
Yeah. Packers Chiefs. I'm going Packers.
Yep. Give me Packers.
Yeah, Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, no, Pat Mahomes here. That's got to be a Packers win.
Yeah, I think this is a Packers too.
And then the biggest game of the week, the Dolphins Steelers.
Watch the Dolphins win this one.
Give me the Dolphins sneaking in a win here. Fuck it. Why not?
Yeah, brother.
I'm down
going
for
Steelers, but you know.
I'm going to upset everybody and go with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait. Actually, hold on. Is Mason Rudolph starting or is he out as well?
Know.
I think he's still out. They had what's his face? Daniel what's his name?
Something with an F. Like
Fursdale, that's it. Daniel Fursdale.
Daniel's for sale.
Daniel's for sale, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess I'll buy one Daniel because I picked them.
Yeah. All right.
Who's returned?
Anybody else want to go? Anyone going Dolphins?
You know what? Yeah, I'm going Steelers. Yeah,
I win Dolphins, dude.
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, I could see the upset.
I
could too.
Think it happen here. Yeah.
This is why you have the worst pick.
This is the only thing I can do at this point is try to pick the Hail Marys.
Yeah,
dude.
I understand the
in
strat.
fairness to Bear here in this game, I mean, it's a Roethlisbergerless Steelers that is like floundering.
Man.
Yeah, that's floundering, and they're playing against the Dolphins. Dolphins eat flounder. And on top of that,
do they eat flounder though?
I
don't know.
Let it go.
Just don't worry about it. Don't think about it too hard. And then the Dolphins have Fitz magic. It could happen.
That's true. They do. Sure, why not? But they'll probably lose. I'm locking in the Seahawks over the Falcons.
Oh,
all right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Reasonable.
Sinvicta?
I already said the Patriots.
Yeah, he's got.
Oh, all right. Well, that's an easy one.
Since Bear didn't take him, I mean, I gotta take him.
And then there's the Vikings lock. Wait, who'd Rob lock?
The Colts.
Okay. Well, that's our pick'ems.
Yeah, pick'ems.
So pick'ems. And that is the show. So thanks for listening. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. There's all our Twitters on the screen. You can also subscribe on YouTube and watch our ads that play. We're on SoundCloud as well. And yeah, thanks for listening. And we'll see you next week. And we've got. This is a really weird outro. Normally it's the other thing, but
I was a little confused by it. Yeah.
I am too.
I don't know. Victor didn't start, so I figured I'd just go with a different Star Wars.
No, I want Rob to hear it when it's actually just him playing the Star Wars theme.
Well, I went with a different Star Wars theme, actually, but
All right, nope, copyright's
Now we're
coming
talking.
in. All right, we're done. Thanks for listening. Goodbye. Adios.
Bye, everybody.
See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.